First, good afternoon. Now that we're being recorded, apologies for the delay, technical difficulties. Welcome to our September meeting, commissioners and guests. So good to, now that I can actually see you. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the August meeting minutes as submitted?
Motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Any abstentions or deletions or abstentions? Okay. The minutes are approved as presented. Do I have any requests for continuum? No. Okay, good. Well, let's keep moving forward then. Any non-agenda public comment? Okay. All right. Well, we always started off with something positive, and that must mean the friends are in the house. Friends of the Library Report. Hi, Joan. How are you? Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Wendy. This is gonna be very brief. The Friends of the San Diego Public Library doesn't have much to report this month, although we've been quite busy with behind the scenes work and getting our chapters compliant with various reporting requirements. And we're also working on updating the chapter bylaws, something we do about once a decade. Our Friends Network has helped in getting the word out about the presentations and comment period for the Library Master Plan Phase 1 report, which we're happy to do. Friends chapters have continued to hold both outdoor and now some indoor book sales, and several have reopened their used book sales. Their used bookstores with enthusiastic reception from customers and those volunteers who have felt comfortable being in public spaces. Most Friends chapters have continued to meet virtually, although several have met or are planning to meet at their libraries, in the next month, which is the customary venue in non-pandemic times. My own chapter has decided to continue virtually at least through January. Online book sales continue to bring in some income for the greater FSDPL and also for several of our chapters. In view of the very concerning continuing public health situation, meetings for both our Greater Friends Board and the monthly meetings with chapter leaders will continue to be held virtually. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Joan. Well, we send all of our friends continued good health, and everyone on the call. I know we're all continuing to navigate through the latest health situation, but we appreciate your efforts. Thank you, Joan. All right, let's move forward to the Library Foundation report. Hi, Foundation friends. Patrick.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I too will make this brief. I only have two quick things to say. One, I just wanted to extend our gratitude on behalf of the foundation and the board and all of our supporters, your supporters, that all of the work that Misty and her team have been doing to ensure that library patrons are safe and communicated with, and I know a lot is going on. I do want you to know, as you can imagine, we get a lot of questions how libraries are being accessed and services that are available. And it gives everyone a lot of pride to be able to say that, our library team, Misty's team, Bob, Raul, Curtis, all of you are just doing, just such an incredible job at making sure that access to the library is still attainable, but everybody feels safe. And I just want you to know that we've been hearing that, and thank you again. The other thing that I did want to say was a thank you to, this is a library master plan update, as a lot of my updates have been in the last few months, but thank you again to everyone who attended our August 24th event presentation. And I believe we had about 62, 65 people attend. We had a very robust hour-long conversation. I probably could have gone on for longer. Wanted to respect everyone's time. We will be presenting another presentation on Saturday, September 18th at 2 p.m. And there will be links. Charlie can provide links and Tricia can provide links. We'd love to have any and all of you present. And again, any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns that you have, if not presented at the September 18th presentation of the phase 1 draft of the master plan, you are able to do so on the library's website. We've received a little more than a dozen or so really thorough and thoughtful comments and bits of feedback. They're not, and it's been very surprising. I really expected some sort of quick one-liners or, you know, people to have just barely read through the executive summary of the draft. Clearly, these folks have read all 90 pages. They are submitting paragraphs, a lot of really great feedback, very thoughtful, and very respectful to the process, very respectful bits of information that they're providing. I am hoping that I can entice y'all to join me at the September 22nd Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods Committee in making comments of support as Misty presents the phase 1 draft of the master plan to that committee. And then afterwards, we'll be able to give you a little bit more of an update as to the timeline. But again, we do intend to continue to collect public feedback during this phase, again, presenting to the Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods Committee on the 22nd. Before the end of this calendar year, being able to present the document in final form to the commission, and then at the beginning of 2022, being able to see that document be presented to the administration for acceptance. So again, thank you everyone for all of your support throughout this through this period, and look forward to seeing you on September 18th if we don't see you beforehand. And Charlie will be able to provide links to the pages on the library's website, pages with details and the times for the September 18th event. If there are no questions, that is the foundation report. And I
Patrick?
am available for questions. Yes.
Patrick, sorry, just to confirm, two things.
Yes.
On the 18th is at 2 p.m. Saturday, the 18th is the library master plan presentation. If you missed the first one, I would
Yes.
recommend you attend. It was absolutely fabulous. You may not have time to read all 90 pages, maybe you have. And then on the 22nd for the Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods Committee meeting, there was a question in the chat. The time for
I
the
don't know.
22nd, and we don't know yet, right?
I don't know what the time for that committee meeting is, but we will share that through our library's Transform SD coalition. And I would like to say too, if you did attend the August 24th event, you know, and if you want to participate and get a little bit more information, I think attending the September 18th event as well would be worthwhile. There'll be new questions. It's a new conversation, and you know, new audience members. So, you know, any opportunity to get more information about your library master plan, I think would be of value.
Great, thank you. And it was a fabulous presentation. Thank you for the comments in the chat. Misty was mentioning that usually that committee meets at 9 a.m., but again, the time will be confirmed. So you can maybe put a soft pencil hold on the 22nd at 9, but it will be confirmed. Check your emails and all the other libraries. So fantastic. Thank you for that. And the question is, will that be in person or virtual on the Public Safety and Livable Neighborhoods?
Still virtual for now. So I'm
as far as we know,
probably 99% sure it'll still be virtual.
Yeah. Okay. Great questions. Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. It's
Great,
so
thank you.
wonderful to see the evolution of the library master plan, and it is just, again, absolutely fascinating. So I encourage you all to still stay involved with all of us and submit your comments and questions and feedback. So, okay, moving forward to the consent agenda, report on library construction projects. Off we go, Misty and team.
Hi, I have a quick update. The Pacific Highlands Ranch Branch Library has began the re-advertisement for the e-contract, so that process has started again. All of these addendums are now going to the city's Development Services Department, and we're going from paper to digital. So that is moving along. The Scripps Miramar Ranch Library parking lot expansion is also underway. We've met with the city engineers and the library department to, we're in the final phase of design now. So they're doing the plan checks, the building permits, issuing the environmental review, getting all the approvals. We are discussing a 9 to 12-month construction plan, and we are trying to determine the phases of construction, the mobilizations, to see if we can still have the library open during construction. Now, the Ocean Beach expansion, Ocean Beach Branch Library, we met with the engineering department yesterday and the OB expansion committee to identify a date to present the current design plan for public input via the OB planning group. The in-house design funding has been allotted this fiscal year, which will get us close to completion. If not, will get us to completion of the design phase. It's still up in the air whether or not this meeting with the OB planning group will be in person or virtual. That is the update. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Raul. Great report. It is always amazing to me what goes into all of these details. So my goodness, thank you. Great report. And also just appreciate looking into, like, can we have a library open during construction? And if anyone has ever like remodeled their home or whatnot, it's like, if you're all still talking to each other when it's over, it's a good plan. So it may or may not happen, but I think it really speaks, just to the library staff and all of your efforts of how do we continue to serve the public, even when we're remodeling and renovating. So awesome. Thank you, Raul. Thank you for that great report. All right, Misty.
Hey, all right, great. So mostly what I have for you today, guys, is just updates. I just want to kind of give you, keep you updated on all of the many hundreds of things that are going on for us. But I want to add on one thing to Raul's report. What he said about Scripps is we really are going to try to mitigate and not have to close that location for a long period of time, because that parking lot project is going to be a long project. So we're trying to maintain access as much. And then the Carmel Valley Library is getting some new flooring in their lobby. So they will be closed from October 4th to October 8th. That's just the anticipated. We hope that's all that we're going to be closed. But that notice has already gone out for that. So, and they're going to do pickup service during that time. So they'll just revert back to pickup service. So just a FYI for you all. The biggest thing that I have for you, I'll start with kind of the not so great news and then get into some of the more exciting stuff that we're doing. But the reopening status. So we are stuck now because we have 209 vacancies. And 174 of those are the new positions, but those new positions have not been added into the system yet for us to be able to hire them. So we're kind of at we're stuck. We have 29 locations that are open, and we cannot get those other locations open until we hire some additional staff. So we're trying to work through that as quickly as we can. The locations that are still closed: Ocean Beach, Beckworth, Sarah Mesa, Oak Park, Skyline, Claremont, and North Claremont. So we are really trying to work with personnel, trying to work with Department of Finance to get those positions added, to get the current vacancies that we have filled so that we can get back open as soon as possible. It was my hope that we would have everybody open by September. We had kind of said end of September was our goal. I'm worried that we may not make that just because we haven't been able to do interview processes yet because we don't have the lists. So, so just know that, we want those locations to be open as much as anybody else. But we're struggling to fill positions. So
Misty, is there anything we can do from an advocacy perspective or pressure perspective to get those added? I mean, it seems crazy that you're hung up on what seems to be an administrative issue to even begin hiring.
Yeah, it is, and it's frustrating. And I've been talking to the Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Christina Peralta. So I had a conversation with her yesterday and just alerted her to it. And so she's really trying to work, and bring it up to the mayor's attention. But I'll keep you posted. Hopefully, they're supposed to have some lists to us by next week. So fingers crossed, we actually do get those lists, and then we can start the interview process, because what's really holding us from opening the rest is we have about 25 library assistant 3 positions that are vacant, and they were vacant from before. So they're current vacancies, and we haven't been able to fill those. And those are the ones that are going to be crucial for us to be able to reopen the remainder of those locations. So, but yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'm hoping that things are going to start to move quicker for us. So
How long does I know how long it takes us, and that's without a labor shortage. How long does it take you between applications, in screening, interviews, to actually hiring and getting those people started?
yeah, so the interview process, what we're anticipating for just the library assistant 3, we probably are going to be interviewing about 180 positions. And then you have to, so, that takes approximately a week with 2 panels to do that many interviews. Then you have to do the reference checks, and then you have to, get permission to hire and then on board. So we're talking probably another 1.5 to 2 months before we're going to have them on board. So we're looking at, are there ways we can move things around, or, but I mean, we've had a lot of people leave, and we have just a lot of vacancies, like every other, every other organization and company, as is just struggling with getting people back to work. So, and we're facing that same thing. So it's really impacting services. And so we're trying to do what we can, if we can do some pickup services in some locations. But yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit longer than the end of September.
Misty, can I make a comment too? And not to compound the problem, but this is part of the issue too. So we're waiting for lists, but we also have to put together panels that are made up of employees that actually work out in the branch locations. So you would think we could have more panels, but if we do that, then we're pulling people out of the library. So it's a very delicate balance that we're trying to negotiate right now.
Yeah.
Misty, how large is the library workforce? I mean, what kind of a percentage is this 200 vacancies?
So we have about 650 employees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a big percentage. Wow. And
Now, we do still have 130 hourly employees that we're converting over. So we do still have those, but like they don't work 20 hours a week, right? So some of them work 4 or 5 hours a week. Some of them work 10 or 15, So we probably have about 20 to 25% of our workforces. We're down about 25%.
And your resignations, are you seeing any trends in who is resigning?
Yeah, so we are getting, we have had quite a few. Mostly what we're getting is a lot of the hourly employees are resigning. The ones that do not want to be, or we're not intending to apply for a benefited position. So we're seeing a lot of them go ahead and they're resigning now. We had a lot of people resign during the pandemic. So that's kind of where we started from, was we just lost a lot of people during the pandemic. Another area that we're really struggling and I'm worried about is the do your homework at the library program. Is we are just not getting people applying for those positions. We just did a hiring process and we had 5 applicants.
Why do you think that is?
I think because it's an hourly position, and what we know now with just the way that COVID has affected the workforce is people are not going back to kind of hourly unbenefited positions. I think a lot of it, a lot of them were either current school teachers, doing extra hours, or after, retired teachers or things. And I think they're nervous, to work with kids maybe, I don't know. But so far we're okay in being able to keep all of the homework centers open and keep them running. But we have last year this time, well, we had 50 and we have 30 now. So, and then we're probably going to lose another 3 this month. So that we're getting, we have about a 40% attrition rate in that position. So we're going to be looking at what we can do moving forward with that one to make it, again, like we did with the hourlies, to kind of work on a plan for retention. So that's kind of the next priority for us because it's such a crucial program. It's so important. It's so successful. And, it's just would be devastating to have to close some homework centers, especially this year when kids are back in school and are going to really need that support even more than ever. So we're working on that, and I'll keep you posted on how that's moving forward.
Sorry, can you tell me again, can you just review again the branches that are still closed? I think I got all but 2 of them, and I just want to make sure I have it correctly.
So Ocean Beach.
Yep.
Beckworth.
Mhm.
Sarah Mesa. Oak Park. Skyline. Claremont, and North Claremont.
Oh, I got it. Okay, thank you. Well, and I think Commissioner Hanson brought up a great point. I mean, it's no surprise to anyone on this call, the labor shortages, restaurants can't staff people, aftercare programs at schools can't staff people. So it also, what I think about that is it also makes me really want to thank our existing library staff that are there, shouldering, the work that might have been done by 2 or 3 extra people. And it's just important it's good for the commissioners and everyone watching to understand that it's not from a lack of wanting to be open, but wanting to open again safely and well staffed, right? So we will keep you all in our good thoughts. It seems like an awfully big mountain to interview 180 people. So I know there's always a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. You've all been in hiring, and it's like you have to interview and that one doesn't work out, and you have to check references and they have to give 2 weeks notice, and then they have a week vacation. And so, but we will send you good thoughts during that very, very big very, very big project. And we're hoping, and still in the middle of a pandemic, that we all just give each other grace because everyone's doing the best that they can, and not everyone's comfortable going back to work inside, outside. Lifestyles and patterns have changed, I think, for the community, and the library is not immune. So thank you for that update, Misty. It will happen, and we'll be great and full again. It will happen.
We're gonna get there. We will get there. We may not get there when we thought we were, but boy, we're gonna get there by the end of the calendar year, end of the fiscal year. We're gonna get there.
Thank you for all staff in that big project and process. What other updates, Misty?
Okay, so COVID, so we have gone back to mandatory masking in all of our libraries, and that is for the public and staff. So that started last week, and it will be for at least through September. And this is just to kind of, do our part to mitigate the rise in cases, make sure that our staff are safe and that the public is safe. And so we've instituted that. That's really the only thing that we've kind of backed up on at this point. We're closely monitoring if there's any additional restrictions that we need to do. We're still at the 50%. We've never moved beyond that. We've still at reduced numbers for programming, but we haven't stopped any services that we instituted. We just added the mandatory masks back. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be enough, and that's going to be good. But but that's what, and then you may have read in the news that the city did declare that it will be mandatory for all city employees to be vaccinated. That deadline is November 2nd for all employees. And they did that once the Pfizer vaccine was FDA approved. And so we kind of knew that was coming. They are still negotiating the consequences of if someone chooses not to be vaccinated and what that consequence will be, if it will be termination, if it will be weekly testing. So they're still working with the represented employee organizations on what that looks like. So we're waiting on that, but we do know that the vaccine will be mandatory.
Misty, just a clarification on that. Are they currently allowing religious or medical exemptions, or is it just, right?
Yeah, so they're going to allow
How-
the medical exemption, but
Still-
don't know
holding-
what that looks like yet.
Right,
That's
right.
part of what they're negotiating as well, is what's the requirement and what's the requirement of proof and things like that for that
Right.
part. So.
Yep.
So that was that one. About the in-person meetings, we have not gotten an update yet on if the next, I had said that the October meeting would be in person per, Brown Act requirements. We haven't gotten an update yet. I anticipate that it will still be virtual just because of the situation, but we'll definitely keep you posted and let you know plenty ahead of time if anything should change. But I think it's probably safe to say that we'll still see each other on Zoom next month. So we'll be in little squares again next month. All right, so now for the good stuff, yay. So the first thing I want to say is that the Robert Frost event I thought was excellent. Marshall was there. Thank you very much. He even wore a tux, which I told him was completely unnecessary for him to dress up so much for that event, but
For my boy Robert Frost.
But it was a really good kickoff. It was really well received. Jim Hurley and Robert Haas, who's the executive director of the Frost Society, were super, super pleased. The poet laureate, San Diego's poet laureate, was there and he spoke. So it was a really good event and kind of officially gives us a kickoff for the Frost Society. We have some really kind of exciting news going on. So there's a lot of funding opportunities that are coming out of the state. And of course, we always love to be included. And so it's nice that we're always getting included in these, but there's a couple. There's one that is a youth diversion funding. And this is actually was funding that was given to the Economic Development Department in their budget this year. It's $500,000. And it was intended for them to use and engage community organizations to help spend this money. And it was geared for ages 16 to 24 for those not in school or not, engaged, not working, not in school, but to provide youth development opportunities for them and kind of training. And so, because of COVID, it became difficult to work with the community organizations. So the Economic Development Department came to us, the Parks and Recreation Department and Human Resources, to see if we had any existing programs that they could fund with this. And lo and behold, we have an excellent program at the City Heights Performance Annex where we have Media Arts Center who's doing some workforce training, some youth training in video production and filming and editing, everything from, working with clients to developing a script to doing a storyboard to, and they've been doing this training and they just had a film festival there for their students a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, well, what if we took this and we took about 30 students and we put them through this training, intensive training in the fall. And then come January, we have 30 interns for the city whose sole focus is to use their video skills that they just acquired to help tell the city's story. and to create promotional videos or recruitment videos, help with training videos, you know, really kind of embed them in the city, to do those great stories that we always keep saying the city doesn't tell their story very well, right? We don't get those positive stories out as well as we should. And so we're working on that project, and I'm excited that we're going to be able to do this. And, you know, the goal is to create a talent pipeline for the city as well. And, you know, hopefully to be able to retain some of these interns and use them in like communications or city TV or even libraries and park and recreations department, you know, to help with promotional opportunities. The second is also youth development for 16 to 24-year-olds. But this is money that is coming from the state, and it's about 19 million that San Diego would get. And it's workforce development for youth. It's a 3-year-long period that we would have this money, we would have to spend this money. And so this could, one, be an opportunity to expand this program and continue it, but also to fund Library Next and continue to fund Library Next. One of the things with Library Next is we had a 5-year commitment for CDBG funding for that program, and that CDBG funding is running out. And we're not sure that we're going to be able to reapply for the same amount of money that we've gotten in the past, just because HUD's focus has changed a little bit, and they're focusing more on housing and small business. So, you know, this is a great opportunity to, one, be able to continue to fund that program in the way that we were, and then also to be able to expand it to some of the additional opportunities that we want to do, like Parent University, offering more certificate programs, you know, expanding out the Net One portion of that program. So we've put together a proposal for the mayor's office, and so if there's anything that you want to shoot a little note over and say, hey, you know, when it comes to youth development, the library does excellent work with that. So continuing to fund those programs like Library Next is really important for us. There's lots of money coming from everywhere. The state budget also put $430 million for the first time ever into library infrastructure. This is something that's been, you know, of course, 430 million is kind of a drop in the bucket to what the actual infrastructure needs are in libraries within the state, but it's a great start because there's never been dedicated money for this. It is focusing on life and safety projects. We're waiting for some more criteria on, you know, how to apply for the funding and what it will be used for. The state library is the one who will be making the kind of decisions on the grants. So each grant cannot exceed $10 million, but it does need to be in an area, in a community of concern, in a area of poverty. And life, like I said, life and safety is the first, but anything that improves, you know, the life or improves the situation of people in low income areas is also. So again, one of the things that we have in the pipeline looking at is the expansion and the improvements for the Performance Annex and the Black Box Theater in City Heights. And so we've been working on that project, and I think I, you know, presented that business plan to you all, that we have Victoria Saunders, who's been working as a consultant with us. But it's taking that Black Box Theater, which if you've ever been there, is basically one big room. If you open the door, you literally walk onto the stage almost. But it would be creating a actual box office, a green room, doing some improvements to Jeremy Henwood Memorial Park, which is behind it, because the theater opens out both ways, so you can do outdoor performances or inside performances. improving the seating and things, but really taking that to the next level and creating, just a theater that the City Heights community deserves. And then looking at expanding also, that way we can expand the programming. Our intention was to do a resident operator in that space to do their own programming, but also be dedicated to doing programming for the community. And then with this new, youth development funding that we're getting is turning that into kind of a teaching theater and using interns and using students and kind of teaching them, the business of theater and lighting and sound and all of those different aspects. And so we've put that project forward. I think applications are coming middle of September, and then they're trying to get the money out pretty quickly. So hopefully by the spring, they would let us, we would be able to receive funding if approved. And another portion, Sarah Jacobs had asked, she put $1 million toward infrastructure as well and wanted kind of some shovel-ready projects in San Diego for those. And so we had put the City Heights Annex as part of that. And also Linda Vista has a courtyard that they really want to turn into kind of an educational courtyard and to do some different kind of educational things, early literacy components to that courtyard. And so we put forward those two projects and that was $1 million total that Sarah Jacobs was investing in the city for libraries. So it's really exciting. And then the other thing that's happening is the Clara project that you learned about last month from Moni and Mark. So they are installing today in the Central Library, they're installing the barrack installation. So it's a replication of the barracks that the Japanese internment camps. And that event will be, the kickoff of that event will be September 18th from 12 to 2 here at the Central Library in the art gallery. So we are going to be doing, an art installation for that, a series of, programs throughout the fall. So really excited to get that kicked off. We're also have written an additional chapter to, Clara Breed wrote a book I think it was published in early 80s, but it covered the history of the San Diego Public Library up until 1982. And so we've written an additional chapter that covered the last 40 years of the history, which is really difficult to put 40 years into one chapter, but we managed to hit the highlights. And then got in a new forward written by the state librarian Greg Lucas. And so we're going to be republishing that book. It's called Turning the Pages, and republishing that for distribution. So but that is all that I have. So that's kind of the highlights of everything that's going on. We are just hanging in there. So
Thank you, Misty. Great report. And it's great to see all of the money, not all the money, but good to see money coming down the pipeline for youth development. That is the next generation. So excited about that, and excited for the Clara Breed opening too. Really, really encourage folks to attend that if they're able. Do we have any commissioner comment, questions for Misty or commissioner comment? Anyone? All right, let's move forward. Any other business? Okay, well, then we are coming upon adjournment. So just a friendly reminder, October 6th is our next meeting. Look out for messages from Trisha. We will likely be virtual, but if something changes, of course, we will let you know. Thank you again, Misty and team and all of the staff at the library for hanging in, and every day is a different day. Thanks again to our amazing partners at the foundation for all the foundation does to support library programming, and to our library friends. We sure appreciate you, and to all of our fellow commissioners. All right, well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 1:15. Again, my apologies for sliding in a couple minutes late due to technical difficulties. All right. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, thanks. Commissioner Hanson, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. All right, everyone be safe and well. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
You all
Bye, guys.
take care.